One world, 7 precious jewels, 1 mad doctor. 3 things that should have never come into contact with one another are now within each other's reach. The only thing standing between him and world domination? 1 supersonic hedgehog. But he's gonna need some help if he's going to take on the Mad Doctor this time. That's just a fraction of what I'd want out of this hypothetical Sonic Boom show. Hey there everybody, it's Lyoko Jen, here again to talk about everyone's favorite blue blur, Sonic the Hedgehog. Anyways, last year I made a video entitled Sonic Boom, What Happened? In which I talk about how I thought Sonic Boom was originally going to be an adventure show on initial concept, but then stuff happened that made SEGA go with a comedy and whatnot. In that video, for a short bit of time, I began explaining what I wanted out of such an adventure show, but was pretty brief in terms of things I wanted. So now today, I'm going to go into depth about what this Sonic Boom show could have been like, what I would have liked to see. Oh boy, the fan fiction I'll never write. Let's go! Now to start with, the show would have opened up with Sonic and Eggman, as they always are, fighting it out somewhere with some mechanical contraption. Even the opening scene of the first episode of the real Sonic Boom show would have sufficed for this. Just, without Tails for reasons that'll become obvious later. But anyways, Sonic beats whatever mechanical menace Eggman has, and Eggman quickly makes a retreat, telling Sonic that he has no idea what's coming, and he better be ready and such. Typical villainous, don't think this is over sort of deal. Sonic shrugs it off and heads home to his shack. While he does live in the village and has some friends, he doesn't really have anybody. It makes a huge point to show that, aside from fighting the Doctor, life's pretty boring and lonely for the world's fastest hedgehog. But things get interesting when Sonic sees a biplane going down in the first episode. The episode would end with him rushing off to see what's up. The second episode would open where the first episode left off. Sonic is quick to the rescue, finding the plane has crashed in the forest. There, he finds a two-tailed fox who has been knocked out cold. Sonic quickly takes him back to his home, where he lets the fox rest. After a scene of Sonic basically waiting around, Fox wakes up and introduces himself as Miles per hour. Miles tries to get up, only for it to hurt, and for Sonic to tell him to just lie down. Sonic begins to talk to Miles, and they introduce themselves to each other, and they make quite fast friends. But Eggman shows up right at Sonic's front doorstep, with an entirely new plan to destroy him. Eggman is then surprised to see Miles, but says that his miserable assistant should step away from that no-good hedgehog and get back to the lab. Miles tries to fight back, only for his injuries to get the better of him. Sonic's quick to defend his new friend, despite not knowing what's going on. Of course, Sonic wins, and once again, Eggman retreats. The episode ends with friendly banter between Sonic and Miles, with Sonic giving him the new nickname, Tails. In the next episode, some time has passed, and Tails is officially back on his feet, and has become much closer with Sonic than before. Tails finally asks Sonic about his plane, and the hedgehog responds that it crashed in the forest. Together they go, and it's there that Tails explains his origins to Sonic. As it turns out, the two-tailed fox was actually Dr. Eggman's laboratory assistant, and wanted to pursue science with what he thought was a good doctor. But one day, Eggman discovered the existence of 6 Chaos Crystals meant to give ultimate power. Tails was excited when the doctor told him of these crystals, thinking they could do a lot of good for the world with them. But Eggman says that they'll rule the world with this kind of power. Tails, feeling betrayed by the doctor after the discovery of his vision, flees their lab on his biplane, only for Eggman to shoot him down where he crashed in the forest in the previous episode. Sonic listens intensely, not liking the sounds of Eggman's plans. Tails then says that they have to stop Eggman from getting all the crystals. Sonic agrees, and together they fix Tails' plane and set off on a new journey to find the crystals, ending the 3rd episode. And over the course of the season, we have Sonic and Tails venturing out over the vast new world to find the Chaos Crystals in a sort of showdown type of deal. They go to new places, such as the Ocean Purification Plant and Cliff's excavation site, as well as some rebooted places like Mushroom Hill Zone or Chemical Plant. On their journey, they manage to meet up with new characters exclusive to Boom, like Percy and Cliff, as well as rebooted modern characters like Cream the Rabbit or Team Chaotix. Amongst all the companions and foes they meet over the course of their journey, both Amy Rose and Styx the Badger join their party, making the duo of Sonic 2 into Team Sonic Boom. Just before the mid-season finale is up, Team Boo managed to get 2 of the crystals, while Eggman nabs 3 of them. In a 2-part season finale, the final crystal has revealed itself in an area known as the Sky Citadel. There, the team of Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Styx has gotten very well acquainted with one another, and is trying to do their best to get the last of the crystals. The only problem is, a certain echidna shows up and attacks Sonic and friends. Sonic ends up fighting the echidna on his own, insisting that the others go after the final crystal. During the fight, Sonic and the echidna begin talking, and Sonic learns that the echidna is named Knuckles. It is simply trying to guard the remaining crystal. A mural depicting a blue hedgehog fighting a giant machine over a crystal is shown. When Knuckles saw it, he misinterpreted it and thought he had to defend the remaining crystal from Sonic. And that's when Eggman's machines march in and end up apprehending both Sonic and Knuckles. They're led to the top of the Citadel where the shrine to the Chaos Crystals is. There, Tails, Amy, and Styx are captured with their hands up, with robots all around, blasters trained on them and such. With Sonic and Knuckles having joined the others in captivity, it's then when Dr. Eggman makes his grand entrance to his theme music and nabs the Chaos Crystal. With that, the robots order Sonic forward and threaten to destroy him if they don't hand over the remaining crystals. Both Tails and Amy, who are in possession of the 2 crystals, hand them over due to Tails' brotherly relationship with Sonic and Amy's infatuation with the blur. This leaves Styx and Knuckles outraged. Just when Eggman is about to go off with the remaining crystals, a black hedgehog appears out of a column of light. Shadow? Eggman and Sonic gasp, surprised to see him show up. Shadow then destroys most of the machines and makes quick work of Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Styx to where they're knocked out. Sonic is left standing, but barely. Shadow then directs his detention to Dr. Eggman and takes all 6 of the crystals from the Doctor. He makes a big speech of how the crystals were never meant for anybody's hands, and that if he ever sees any of them going after the crystals again, he will stop them. With that, Sonic tries to stop Shadow from getting away, only for him to use Chaos Control, leaving the scene and taking the crystals with him. Eggman then swears revenge on Sonic and friends, before making a retreat. Sonic is about to run after Eggman, only to see his friends still knocked out on the floor. Teeth grit, Sonic looks between the 2 parties, before finally turning back to his friends, ending the episode and the season as a whole. Season 2 would start and would begin with an arc about getting to know Knuckles. As it turns out, he's pretty dumb, but not comically stupid in the true incarnation of Boom, but more in a sense where it's revealed that Knuckles has amnesia. One day, he woke up in the Citadel, and he can't remember anything because of that. Tails and Amy insist that Knuckles come with them, that they'll help him regain his memories. They agree, and together, everybody helps Knuckles learn not only about himself, but more about the Echidna race, more about the world around them, the ancients, the origins of the Chaos Crystals. So a season of more familiar, rebooted characters and faces, as well as entirely new ones as well. In a mid-season finale, they find out that the Chaos Crystals were once one big Master Emerald, but in a battle with the ancient race of Echidnas, the Echidnas were massacred, the Ancients vanished, and the Master Emerald was left shattered into 7 pieces, which were dubbed the Chaos Crystals. Together, the 2 remaining Echidna scattered the 7 crystals across the globe before the 2 went into hiding, getting reincarnated once every 50 years. Of course, Knuckles is one of those Echidna, having been reincarnated over and over since then. Tails figures out that he either bumped his head or got amnesia or something happened in his last rebirth that caused him to forget. But that's when they take notice of the fact that it said 2 Echidna, and that there is a 7th Chaos Crystal. It's then that they realize they have to find the Echidna, wherever they and the remaining crystal are hiding. Unfortunately, Eggman and Shadow here as well, and it's a race to find the missing Echidna and the crystal. Eggman's motives are the hopes that the Echidna can reveal wherever Shadow hid the crystals in the first season finale, while Shadow's hoping to make sure the Echidna can be tucked away in a safer place. To him, these crystals have to remain hidden. As it turns out, the Echidna is the reincarnated Boom version of Tikal, and unfortunately, Eggman kidnaps her, ending the 2nd season. In the 3rd season, a frustrated Shadow finally decides to work with Team Sonic, as they have the same goal of making sure Eggman doesn't get the remaining crystals. We learn a lot about Shadow and why he doesn't want the crystals in anyone's hands. His origins are that he was an experiment by Eggman's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, who had gathered the 7 crystals and experimented with them in an attempt to create life. In the end, Shadow was created through the power of the 7 Chaos Crystals. He lives and breathes Chaos energy in its truest form. He is the ultimate life form. And somehow, he was friends with Maria Robotnik. And you know, spoiler alert, Maria died and he blames himself. And that prompted him to become the self-appointed defender of chaos, to not devastate anyone else with another being like him being created. Shadow hates himself. He feels that someone as powerful as him shouldn't live, and he can't let anyone become as powerful as he is through the power of the Chaos Crystals. Not only this, but he doesn't really understand what Sonic is. Shadow's never met anyone who was able to defeat him. While Sonic doesn't beat him every time, it's still odd. Especially because he has more Chaos energy in him than almost anybody he's met, save for himself. He also adds that if Sonic really tried, he could probably use Chaos Control himself. Over the course of the season, Team Sonic would teach him to feel better about himself, and that despite not being completely straight with them, he's done a lot of good in the past. Sonic actually gets him to crack a half smile at some point, and Knuckles and Sticks, he's okay with. He gets along with both Tails and Amy, as he finds them the most mature of the group. Unfortunately, Eggman gathers all the Chaos Crystals and uses them to wreak havoc on the world. Team Sonic comes in to stop him, with the help of Shadow and the other characters they met over the course of the series. So Percy, Rouge, Omega, Blaze, Cliff, the whole shebang, and together they're able to save the day the crystals reform into the Master Emerald. With that being said, the Echidna race is brought back to life, and Tikal goes back to them, returning as their leader. She asks Knuckles if he'd like to join her and his people as they return to the Boom version of Angel Island. Knuckles looks between Tikal and his friends before smiling. He declines and says that, for now, he'd like to continue adventuring with Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Sticks. Tikal nods and leaves with the Echidnas. With that, Shadow finally decides to leave Team Sonic with a better understanding of his new frenemies. He, Rouge, and Omega decide to leave together in hopes of creating their own adventuring team. Sonic and friends then celebrate their victory, and from there, it's open to whatever kind of plots could be brought into. Maybe they could do a Boom version of the stories from one of the other games, like Adventure, or Adventure 2, or Heroes, or 06. Actually, don't do that last one. Or even a spin-off, like Riders or something. Overall, it would be fast-paced action, adventure, an entirely new universe for Sonic fans to enjoy. But that's what I imagine for an adventure show Sonic Boom would have been like, based on what we know about the world of Rise of Lyric, Shattered Crystal, Fire and Ice, the show itself, and just my own general theories about things in the world of Sonic Boom. What do you guys think? Do you like what I have in mind for this hypothetical show? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching. All that being said, this has been the Lyoko Gem, warping out.